Hey y'all, it's me, it's your girl. The glow up is. Listen, I'm excited because God saw fit to give us another day. I'm excited because guess what? It could have been the other way, right? God has something great for you and me, right? And this is the whole point of the glow up is, right? We grow to glow. We're in this thing together. You're not by yourself, you're not excluded, right? And a lot of times, right, we deal with all these different things that we don't talk about. We don't deal with the things, right, that we can't see. We focus so much on the exterior that we're not focusing on the interior. And God has literally been uncturing me on this week, like literally been tugging at me this week, like being intentional with the things that I've been masking, right? And I say this because we as people, sometimes we mask those things and we make it look good. We make it sound good. We make it feel good. And I think that sometimes if you really, really know me, like if you truly, truly know me, then you'll know that, hey, a lot of times I can't mask things for a very long time. Like for a long period of time, I cannot mask it. But sometimes I will make it look like it's great and it may not even be great, right? Sometimes that's what we call faking it till we make it. But God had to get on me this week, like, no, you can't be out here faking it till you make it. Because at the end of the day, right, there are people who are also faking it till they make it. And I need for you to just be open and honest with all of the things that you have going on, because the thing is, right, it may be a blessing to somebody else. And I'm saying this because the truth of the matter is sometimes we're not really healed, right? Until we open up, until we share. And sometimes you're not even realizing why you're sharing what you're sharing, but you're sharing those things and you're sharing your story because it's meant for this person to be a part of, the story, or in that season, and that's in that season of what it is that you're going through, right? It's always a reason why we cross the paths that we cross with people. And I never believe that it's ever by accident why we cross paths with people. Either they're the assignment or they are part of your purpose, right? Sometimes you find out that, hey, this person might actually be my purpose partner. I don't know. But sometimes you don't figure that out until later on. And then sometimes, it's also the assignment, right? And some of us, man, we don't take these relationships, um, we don't take them seriously. We don't take our friendships we don't take our friendships, or just in the passing, right, of these people that are supposed to be in your life, whether or not if it's temporary, whether or not they're permanent, whether or not, it doesn't matter, but taking full advantage of the opportunities of those people who come into your life. And sometimes in life, we just really have to utilize our discernment. Like we really literally have to try the spirit by the spirit. And your spirit will literally let you know whether or not this is an assignment or whether or not this is purpose. Whether or not if you're supposed to be learning from them, or whether or not they're supposed to be learning from you. Maybe you're the answer to their problem. Maybe they have the answer to your problem, but to each his own, right? And that's what we got to figure out. So I'm constantly always asking God to show me, right? But I'm also asking God, right, out of urgency, because I'm always constantly trying to seek his face. I'm always constantly trying to, glean from him in some type of way, shape, or form. I always try to look at things and I try to see things. I try to see the positive in everything. But sometimes it's hard for me to see the positive, right? But I always try to just see the positive in my day. And even if it's just me just waking up, that is already a positive. That I'm already thankful. I'm already grateful because there was somebody who did not wake up today, whose job, maybe they finished it, maybe they weren't completed with their purpose. I don't know. But I always look at it as, you know what, God, I just want to be better than who I was yesterday. So if I can just be better than the woman that I was yesterday, that does me and my heart and my soul well, right? But I'm never satisfied because I always want to make sure that God is doing exactly what it is that he needs to do in my life. And I think that sometimes, right, we can get distracted. So that's why tonight I kind of wanted to talk about, let us not get distracted. And I wanted to bring up a story and some characters, and you all can definitely read it at your own leisure. But I kind of wanted to talk about Mary and Martha. And a lot of times, right, we talk about Mary, and Mary and Martha were sisters. And if you go back into the book of Luke, chapter 10, verse 38, verses 42, you'll actually see that it says, as they continued their travel, Jesus entered a village. A woman by the name of Martha welcomed him and made him feel quite at home, right? She had a sister, Mary, who sat before the master, hanging on every word he said, but Martha was pulled away by all she had to do in the kitchen. Later, she stepped in, interrupting the master. Don't you care that my sister has abandoned the kitchen to me? Tell her to lend me a hand. The master said, Martha, dear Martha, You're fussing far too much and getting yourself worked up over nothing. One thing only is essential, and Mary has chosen it. It's the main course and won't be taken from her. So, what I the crazy thing about this, right? In a lot of times, what happens is that we try to identify. We want to be like Mary, right? We want to be where Mary, because if you look at it, like Martha literally was getting her whole house, like getting everything prepared because she was doing exactly what, what traditionally most women do. We make sure, things are in order. We make sure the dinner is taken care of, the kitchen is clean, the house is clean because you got guests and everything coming over, right? So we like to look in all of the corners, all the cracks, and that's just me, period, right? If I got guests that's coming over, like literally, right? My house is already clean because I don't keep a junky house, right? I feel like at the end of the day, like you just not gonna come up in my house no any kind of way. And I mean that, and I put that on everything because God ain't raised me like that. But my mom didn't raise me like that. Neither my grandma. My grandma was watching this, she gonna say, yep, that's true. We ain't got time for that, right? So I always believe your most two important rooms, of course, is the bathroom and the kitchen. And Martha is absolutely right. Like, wait a minute, you got my sister that's in here with me, and she's supposed to be lending me a hand. She over there with you. And so I got an issue with that, right? And I think that that was a valid reason for her to feel some type of way because at the end of the day, we're women and we're supposed to be, right? Quote unquote, we're supposed to be in the kitchen. We're supposed to be getting things prepared. It's natural for us to want to take care of and nurture and to, be those homemakers, right? That's naturally what we want to do. It's natural for us to want to clean. It's natural for us to want to get these things done. And so I'm just like, God, I need for you to help me to be more like Mary because I identified with Martha a lot, right? And it was so funny because my mom was like, Toya, I had a dream about you earlier in the week. And what I didn't confirm to her in that moment is that God had literally been telling me to pick up the word to read that, right? And so she had literally gotten on the phone with me today, and it literally had came back to her mind and her remembrance. And so, sometimes, man, we get so caught up in life situations, and the things that we want and the things that we think that are important. And God is like, let's not. You're focused on the wrong things. I need for you to focus on the things that are needed. Like, I don't need you to focus on the things that you want. And it's so funny because I was literally talking to one of my friends this week and we were talking about needs and wants, right? We were talking about finances. We were talking about budgeting. We were talking about all of these things. And all of these things literally ripped off, and God began to speak life into me in a whole lot of ways because the thing about it is that I've always liked to prepare myself for whatever comes my way, right? Because that's just the way it is for me. But I know each and every single one of us, God deals with us individually, right? And so because he deals with us individually, the biggest thing is that we grow in the way that we need to grow. You get what I'm saying? So whatever God gives you, that's what it is going to be. So a lot of times, even in those situations when we're unsure, like we have to literally sit there at the master's foot, okay, and get the word. We have to take time to spend with God. Like we have to make sure that we're doing everything that we can do, right, to not be distracted by the things that we have going on. Because I think that it's easy for us to play host, right, versus being a guest, like in our own house, right. And I thought this was dope because um, Martha is her home, right? It's her kitchen. There's things that she's familiar with. And her sister is familiar with it too, but her sister decided that I'm going to stay at his feet. I just feel like I just need to be here. This is where I need to be. And, Jesus literally rebuked Martha, right? Because the thing about it is that when he rebuked Martha, right? He was like, well, no, she's doing exactly what she's supposed to do because this is a need. This is essential. This is the thing that's going to last, right? And I think that sometimes in life, we get so focused on the things that's of the world that we forget about our source. And because our source is the one who actually provides the resources for our life, right? And he's the guide, he's the tool, he's the one who's going to do that, right? For us, like he's gonna make sure that we get everything that we need, right? Because in his word too, he talks about seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all of his righteousness, and all of these things shall be added unto us, right? So the thing about it is if we seek him out like Mary is doing, right? And we take the time to say, God, I need you, just like Mary did, because I don't even know what the urgency was for Mary. Mary was just like, shoot, I ain't even worried about that kitchen. I ain't worried about nothing else. Listen, Jesus is here and I'm gonna be right here with him. I might not even get a chance. I can't even imagine what she was thinking about in that moment. Maybe she was thinking like I may not even get a chance, right, to ever be able to actually break bread with Jesus in the physical, right? I may not be able to do this again because I know who he is, because I've tried the spirit by the spirit, and I know that he's so important. But Martha was so worried about, I just got to make sure everything is good. I got to make sure everything is prepared. And God says, I am the preparer. God says, I don't need you to prepare anything. I am the preparer. I am the table. I am all of it. Right. And I was talking about this to one of my friends earlier this week. It's like, a lot of times, right, we've been talking and people been literally been talking about relationships, and they've been talking about, what do you bring to the table? I don't even entertain those type of conversations because I know my worth and I know my value. And at the end of the day, you try the spirit by the spirit. So if you don't see, right, the value in what I am and what I do, right, it doesn't matter. You're not for me, right? I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm not everybody's wife. I'm a wife, but I'm not your wife, right? So at the end of the day, too, respectfully, boy, bye. So that's the way it is for me, right? That's the way it is for me. But anyways, um, getting back to the story, right? We just get so caught up again in those things that we want, right? And not necessarily what is needed, what's essential. What are the things that are essential? What are the things that we know that God has literally been trying to say, give it to me? Give it to me. Give me those things that you're ashamed of. Give me those things that you've been wanting. Give me the wants, right? Because you need me in order to obtain the wants. Did y'all just hear what I just said? God says, I am essential. In order to obtain the things that you want, right? In order to even to have the life that God has purposed you to have, you need him. So if we're not in the word and we're not being guided, right? What are we being guided by? Are we being guided by our feelings? Are we being guided by the world and what the world thinks and what the world says? Because a lot of times that's what happens. We're getting so caught up in our feelings sometimes. And y'all, our feelings will have us out here looking crazy. Our feelings will have us out here looking crazy. We'll be so consumed by it. And I think even to Solomon, right? And Solomon talks about this is the wisest man. This man asked for wisdom. He ain't asked for nothing else. He said, look, listen, I want some wisdom, Lord. God, give me some wisdom. So God gave him wisdom. And he literally says, right, is that do not out of the heart, right? Out of the heart flows the issues of life. Out of the heart flows the issues of life. And then he says, the heart is deceitful. Who can know it? Like, if we literally sit here and we start thinking about all of these different prophets, Solomon, Jeremiah, and what they said, right? And we're talking about the heart, and they're telling you, do not pay attention to what the heart is saying. It's deceitful. Who can know it? Who can understand the heart? The heart is deceitful. That means that whatever is inside of the heart, whatever you put there, right? The emotions, all of those things can distract you. And it's there to distract you. It's there to keep you in a bubble. It's there to get you upset. It's there to make you feel some type of way. It's there to make you eat. It's there to steal, kill, and destroy. This is what the enemy uses the most. He wants to utilize your feelings to consume you. He wants you to literally go crazy so you will not fulfill the purpose that God has for you. But I'm telling you, we all have a way out. We have to continue to strive to be just like Mary, where we are literally laying at the master's feet. We are literally right there, and we're just taking the time to spend with God. That's all that it is. We're literally sitting there taking the time to spend with God. But if we're not taking the time to literally spend with God and we're doing our own thing, right? We can literally go left when God is trying to get us to go right. And next thing you know, it's a terrible thing, right? When we've gotten so caught up in our own feelings that we don't even know the difference between wrong and right no more, because we've been doing it for so long. And only God can change those things, right? So that's why I said, let's not get distracted. Let's not get distracted. We got to give ourselves more grace, absolutely. But we also got to be intentional with what it is that God has for us. We got to be more intentional with what it is that God wants to do in our lives. Yo, listen, we literally have gifts that's inside of us. We have a purpose that's inside of us. And if you're watching this right now, guess what? You have a purpose. That means that your purpose has not yet been fulfilled. And only you can do it the way that God has destined for you to do it. Y'all, listen, I literally been going through this weight loss journey, right? And I can be real with y'all, right? Literally, I've been going back and forth with this weight loss journey for a while now. I've literally been up and down, up and down, up and down. And I think that, me being open and honest with myself, right? Because I know a lot of it sometimes can come from grief. And I know that I've been dealing with a lot of different things, right? Because I had a loved one pass, and then I had another loved one pass right back to back. And it was a lot for me. And sometimes what happens is that for me, food comforts me. Food makes me feel good, right? It does something to me. It soothes me. And again, it tastes good, right? it just tastes good. But what I'm learning is it's not that the food is the issue, it's too much of the food, right? It's the amount of the food, it's the quantity of the food. And so for me, it's like, okay, all right, when is enough? Why can't you just have one piece of bread? Why you gotta have two? Right? Why you gotta have two donuts instead of just one donut? And y'all know how I am sometimes when I tell y'all about that Krispy Kreme light, honey. I'm gonna tell you what. And this is the crazy part too. And this is the thing too that sometimes I get distracted with, right? Is that I literally have a personal pan pizza, right? That may cost me $7. Okay. And then the Pizza Hut rep will say, hey, if you add $2 more to that, you can get you a whole large one topping. And I'm sitting there like, now, you know what? This is the crazy part. Toya, who is at the house with you that's going to help you eat that? And here I am. I'm going to save it because I could eat that tomorrow for lunch. That could be my lunch tomorrow. That could be dinner for later. And I could have this. I'm making all these different excuses because in my mind, right, I've literally gotten distracted by my own thoughts, just like Martha did. Like I literally got distracted by my own thoughts in that moment because I saw everything. I heard what I wanted to hear, right? And I already had it in my mind that Toy, you're gonna get this pizza. And I knew that my intentions was to get the personal pan pizza. But because I got distracted by the numbers, right? And because I got distracted with tomorrow, and I don't even know whether or not I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, but I'm gonna get a pizza anyway. This is crazy, right? So I literally got all up in my feelings, and I was like, listen, I'll just go ahead and spend $2 more for that. I could go ahead and have a whole pizza. And y'all, do y'all know I ate that pizza? I ate that pizza. And I ate the rest of it the next day and didn't share it with nobody. Want nobody here to share it with. Okay. I'm just saying, we listen and we don't judge. I'm just sharing this with you because sometimes, y'all, we can get so distracted in the world. We can get so distracted with the things that we want when God is like, listen, I need for you to just put the plate down. I need for you to spend time with me. That in itself, like, literally convicted me in that moment. And I was just like, God, thank you so much for just being you. Now, this was a while ago when this happened. This was not recently because this week right here, your girl been eating healthy. Okay, your girl been eating a lot healthier. I've been eating some peanuts that I probably shouldn't have been eating because the little sodium or whatever. But I'm gonna tell you what, I've literally been intentional with that, right? And I'm thankful for that because the thing is that sometimes we can get distracted, but we also got to realize like what is our priority. And what Martha failed to understand that Jesus in that moment was a straight priority. God is always going to be a priority for us. Like if you say that I believe that the Lord himself sent his son to die for my sins, and he literally died for my sins and he rose again, you are saved. So with that being said, if you've accepted him in your heart and you believed in your mind that you've already received him, right, then that means that you yourself has literally said, God, I want what you have for me. I want your thoughts, I want your ways, I want your purpose. But if you literally haven't said that yet and you're still on the fence about it, then that's cool, right? I'm not saying that you have an excuse to go out and still sin, but what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, you still trying to figure it out, right? And we hope and pray that you find your way to the Lord, right? Because it's just not, it's not feasible, right? To not have a relationship with God, right? And at the end of the day, the same way that God deals with me doesn't mean that he's going to deal with you the same way, right? But God is right there with you with open arms, and he loves you even when we mess up. And I'm not saying even when you do decide to come to God, right, that you won't mess up, that you won't have those moments like Martha and get so caught up, right, in what you want and what you're doing and in preparation, that we literally forget about everything else, which is most important, which is God. Like we literally have to be intentional with spending time with God. That is the only way that we're going to really fulfill this life, that we're going to live a prosperous and full life. Like y'all, I understand, bills got to get paid. I understand that, maybe things is past due, but listen, you're still here, you're still breathing. guess what? That other bill still got paid, right? We don't know how God is going to do a lot of the different things, but y'all, I'm in expectation mode. So we can't be distracted. I refuse to be distracted. I don't know about y'all, but listen, I refuse to be distracted. I refuse to allow myself to be like Martha anymore. I refuse to be like Martha anymore. I want to be like Mary. I want to be at his feet all the time, 24/8. 24/7, right? I said 24/8, 25/8, all day, every day, if I could be. You get what I'm saying? And that's the reality, right? Is that because you can definitely tell whether or not if a person really is spending time with the Lord by how they carry themselves, by how they talk. Like, are you all even talking about God? Like, do we even mention God? You know what I'm saying? I'm thankful for my friends, man. And I only have I got two real friends, right? Like, God has blessed me with two real friends. Like, I can honestly say they are my friends, right? They are truly my friends. Um, and I say that because they love me for who I am, right? But they also like they quiet, but they will actually call me out now, actually be like, well, dang, okay, well, dang, I didn't understand that was what that was. But I also had a right and in our friendship, right, to be able to hold them accountable as well. And I'm just thankful for that because listen, we growing to glow, man. We growing to glow. I don't know about y'all, but listen, I want to glow. I want to glow so heavily that people just like, well, dad, what is going on with that light over there? Her light is shining bright. It's shining real bright. God, I need to put some shades on. That's how bright that thing is. Like, oh, I need 2, 3, 4 shades. I need some more blinders. I need some covering over here because her shade is over here just messing me all up. Ain't no shade or nothing. What is happening over here? That light just going. And so I want to be that. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that I'm pleasing God in everything that I do. I want to make sure that I'm pleasing God with the way that I talk. I want to please God with my eating. I want to please God with everything that I do. Like, I don't want it to just be me, right? And I'm not saying that I'm perfect because I know I'm not. I know I'm not. I know I'm gonna mess up even after this. I'm still gonna mess up, right? But what I can say is that I'm okay and I'm fully persuaded, right? That God, there is no condemnation in him, right? First and foremost. And he's paid it all. And if he's paid it all for me, then who am I to go out here and continue to keep on sinning intentionally? I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to be out here intentionally sinning because at the end of the day, right? What I know is that my sinful nature wants to sin. It wants to sin. My sinful nature wants to sin and it wants me to be in my feelings. It wants me to do all the things that I should not do, the things that I know that I shouldn't do at that. Like, why even entertain those conversations that you know that you shouldn't even be entertaining? Ooh, why you even on the internet at this time? Why you ain't sleep right now, Toya? It's after 1 o'clock. Why you not sleep? Mm. And you know what? And I'm thankful too that I have a friend that'll tell me, all right, girl, you sleepy. So go ahead on. And sometimes even when I get off the phone with her, I'll still be up and I find myself just lingering and just going around and just literally like searching the internet for all different types of things. And this is how we get caught up sometimes, right? We be all on the internet just surfing. And I'm like, you know what? Let me get up off this internet. Let me even get this phone from around me at this moment. Get thee behind me, Satan. Listen, sometimes we got to call Satan out. We got to call him up out because at the end of the day, listen, you ain't got no power over here. You ain't got no power over me, and I ain't giving you no power either. Okay. I'm gonna do what I got to do because I can't be distracted. Y'all, we cannot be distracted. We cannot afford to be distracted. There is somebody that is waiting on you. Somebody is waiting for you. Somebody is waiting on exactly what it is that you have. Somebody is waiting on you. Stop being distracted. Stop getting distracted. Stop putting yourself around people who don't mean you no good. Like, stop allowing people to drain you. Yeah, because you think that, okay, well, I just want to be around people. So I'm just going to be around people. Oh, this is just something to do. So I'm just going to do it. Like, literally, like, we should literally be taking our time, right? And having these conversations, right, about positive things. Like, if it's not building you up and it's literally subtracting from you, then you probably shouldn't be having these type of conversation. I'm just saying, Lord, listen, we have to, yes, sis, adjust the focus. Yes. And we have to be real with ourselves, man. Like, could it be better? Could my relationship with God be better? Could it be a little bit better? Well, am I spending enough time with you, Lord? Like, start asking God, right? Literally, I woke up this morning. I was like, God, can I put on a dress today? And God was like, sure. I just asked him, can I put a dress on today? What do you think about this dress? Like, my hair looked crazy, right? I was just literally like, God, my hair looked crazy. But God was just affirming me and was just like, you're just as beautiful as you can be. You are beautifully and wonderfully made. You are mines before you were your mom's, right? You were mines and you will always be mines. And so I'm just thankful for that. I'm thankful that God loves me in such a way, it makes me feel all of the warm and fuzzies, but not only just the warm and fuzzies, right? It makes me feel even more so convicted too, because I'm like, God, I could be spending more time with you instead of doing this, right? Instead of me watching Netflix, I could be spending a little bit more time with you. And so I'm thankful though for the time that I do spend with God, right? Even at work, like I find myself spending a lot more time with God in between my calls, like when I'm at work, because what happens is for me, it's like it's nothing that's distracting me. Like, and I feel like, especially during the day, like God will interrupt like my routine. And it's amazing because sometimes I just bust out crying, just thanking Him because I can remember who I used to be, right? I can remember all of the things. And I'm not saying again, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect because Toya's still out here cussing. I'm gonna be real with you. Toya's still out here cussing. Toya be cussing and Toya just be, yeah, they're cuss. My mouth is so dirty. My mouth, it can be very, very dirty. And God just really got to take a pile of soap and really wash it out. And I know only He can do it, right? But I also got to be willing. And I know that I am willing, right? But my mouth just be sometimes I just be feeling like I just gotta just get it out that way. And I think because I work right in this job that I work in, it's like I'm literally always constantly filtering myself. So I know it's possible for me to do it. Because I know that I don't cuss, when I'm helping somebody, right? So I know it can be done. I know I can adjust to that, right? But again, just me being intentional with that. But yeah, I got real issues. I got real things that I'm dealing with. So yeah, I like to cuss. I'm not even gonna sit up there and hold you on that. I like to cuss. Um, but it feels good to me sometimes. Oh God. All right, I'm going left with this. This ain't even right now. I'm just literally out here just telling y'all like I like to cuss and I'm just telling y'all all of that. But I do feel like I am getting a lot better with it. But as of lately, God has really been trying to take it out of my mouth. And I know that He's trying to take it, and Toya B is like a tug of war that's there. And I know He probably just like, you know what, I'm just gonna let you be because you keep trying to play with me. And I know I be playing in his face sometimes. And I know he just be up there like, my daughter just be literally playing in my face because I do it all the time like that. I be like, God, you really playing in my face today? Because I do it too. You know what I'm saying? I talk to God like that because me and God, we like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about you and your relationship with God, but that's your relationship. That's not mine. So, we can talk like that. We talk to each other all the time. Like, you just go play in my face like that. That ain't what we doing. So, how you gonna sit up there and tell God we not gonna do? Okay. But anyways, God will make you start doing things that you wouldn't think that you gonna do. But anyways, I'm thankful for this platform. I'm thankful for this podcast. I wanted to get on here a little earlier today, just simply because I got some things that I had to do with um, getting myself ready to go to Virginia. So I wanted to make sure I at least got on here to show my face on today, but I knew that God had a word today as well with Mary and Martha, and I saw a lot of myself in Martha. But I also see the potential of me being at God's feet, but it's like when I want to be at His feet, and it shouldn't be like that. It should be a need all the time, and He is a priority of mine, right? But I'm just not constantly at His feet all the time. I'm not constantly there. And so I just wanted to, just to get on here, man, to encourage somebody on the day. I like this time. I actually like this time. I think, this time is actually nice around 5:45. I think 5:45 is gonna be most likely the new time. I think 5:45 is dope. Because it gives me even more time to kind of like come up with so many different things. I think 5:45 is going to be the new time that we start this on Fridays. Just simply because, right? I think, when God begins to elevate you, right, and does a lot of different things in your life, He begins to show you. He begins to show how consistent you are. He begins to show how disciplined you are. And what I learned in this week, right? Even me learning that I'm being Martha, like I've learned in some areas of my life, I'm not as disciplined as I thought I was, right? And I was talking to y'all about health. It's a real thing for me, right? And so I literally have to prepare myself for all of the things that God has literally for me. And so, even with that, right, we must take the time to take care of ourselves. We must take the time, right, in all aspects, because this is the thing. If we don't get ourselves together spiritually, there's no way that we're going to be mentally, right? There's no way that we're going to be mentally stable. There's no way that we're going to be emotionally stable. There's no way that we're going to be physically stable without the spiritual, right? So, spirit is first, then mental, because that mindset, right? Because this is the thing, right? Our spirit is telling us already, and our mind has to literally be made up, which is our mental. And then it also unctures onto our feelings, which is emotional. And then whatever it says to our bodies, to our physical body, here comes the physical. So that's why I said we have to make sure that we are growing to glow in all aspects, man. We have to be intentional with this thing. We can't be like Martha all the time. Like, we're gonna have some moments we'll be like Martha, okay? We may get distracted, but we can't stay there. We can't be distracted. We gotta stay focused, and we gotta know that God has everything under control. Anyways, y'all, I love y'all. This is what we do at the Glow Up, is we grow to glow. I'm gonna see y'all again next week. I'll be in Virginia most likely next week. And so I will be putting a video up next week, but the new time is going to be 5:45 p.m. Eastern time on Fridays, because I think that this is dope. I think that this is a good time because everybody's coming home from work.